Hey, I'm
Hello,
Candy
hi.
from Candy Palooza. It's so wonderful to get the opportunity to speak with you. Congratulations
Yeah,
on such a beautiful film.
thank you so much.
Incredible. I watched it this weekend and I cried. I laughed. It was all the emotions. Um,
Oh,
so thank you. It's beautiful. Obviously, this is an adaptation of a book by Judy Blume.
hmm.
Did you read the book as a young girl? And was it part of the reason that you decided to take on the film?
Yeah, I read it for the first time when I was 11 and just I fell totally in love with the book and the characters and Judy Blume as a whole. I just really felt like, okay, now I have to read everything this woman has ever written because she somehow like gets me. It really felt like she just somehow knew all of my like private thoughts and fears and insecurities um and there was something about seeing them in print that
Mhm.
that just was such medicine, you know?
Oh, I love that. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't remember reading the book. I'm sure I did because I know I read a few other of her books,
Uh-huh.
and like Freckle Juice is the one that comes to mind. I'm like,
Yes.
that one, like I read that one.
Yeah.
But so I won't spill on the special cameo in the
Hmm.
film, but can you kind of
Yeah.
share with us whose idea was it?
Oh, okay. Well, it actually was both of our ideas.
Yeah.
Because I had suggest without giving it away, I had
Mhm.
suggested it, and then the person was like, I was thinking the same thing. So it was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely but it was kind of like a blink. If you blink, you might miss it.
Exactly.
Gotta
Yes.
pay
Yep.
attention, right? Yeah,
Yep.
it was wonderful when I was like,
Wait, is that? Yeah.
yeah, that was super exciting. So thank you for
Yeah.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. So as the director, what were some of the challenges that you dealt with while filming?
Well, first of all, we filmed during COVID. So
Mm.
that was just it, it's hard enough. It's a challenge to film a film no matter what, because you're always up against the clock and whatnot. But then when you add on top of it, just, all the COVID issues and restrictions and masks and whatever, that was a lot to take on. But everybody really rose to the occasion, and in a lot of cases it's like people in N95 masks and 95-degree heat in North Carolina and like 100% humidity, so it was, physically tough sometimes. But our cast and crew was really wonderful through it.
Oh, that's wonderful. So how long was the production for it then?
I was out there for about 6 months. We shot for about 6.5 or 7 weeks.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, the casting was superb. We've watched Abby Fortson grow up in films. How did you know that she was going to be your Margaret?
She walked through the door and was just instantly it. I mean,
Mhm.
first of all, I had seen, hundreds of girls before her, and
Mhm.
you see a bunch of girls and they're great, but they're just not it.
Mhm.
Um, and then she walked through the door, and it was like, there she is. You just knew instantly. She's so lovable. I don't know. There's something about her that you just look into her eyes and you just love that kid. I mean, that's my feeling. Is like I just I want to protect her. I want good things for her. I root for her.
Yes.
Um, she also, I think, has a real dexterity to move between comedy and drama,
Mhm.
which is a really mature talent. It's hard to do and to sort of like keep the tone of the film intact. So yeah.
She was very, very captivating as Margaret. Just
Yeah.
fantastic. I was like, oh, I love her so much. She's fantastic.
Yeah,
And like I
she's
said, it's
wonderful.
amazing just to see her grow up, and see you see her as a child, in other films, and then you see her more of she's approaching womanhood.
I know. Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was really special.
Yeah.
And Kathy Bates, obviously an icon and a legend. Just I feel like in her scenes, she just truly just stole the show. Like she's just amazing.
She's incredible. She is so she is so funny and so quick-witted, and also you see her heart through it
Mhm.
all too, and I think she just so perfectly nailed that character,
Good.
and made me, I mean, I want her as a grandma. So,
Right?
I mean,
I
yeah,
know, it's
I
like
wanna have a sleepover with that grandma.
exactly. It's like
Yeah,
she's so lucky, like, Margaret was so lucky to have her in her
I
life, for
know.
sure.
Yes, yeah.
Sure. So one of the things about in the film, obviously, is Margaret's relationship or lack thereof, as we learn in the film with God.
Mhm,
When you were considering, which types of, what religions you wanted to bring into the film and put them, out front, how did you
mhm.
go about, putting that together for the film?
Well, first of all, I mean, it's taken from the book,
Right.
so she goes on a very specific journey, so it was,
Mhm.
about adapting that. Um, but it was really important to me to show her spiritual search in a way that was honest and beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, and um, and when we were in these places of worship, to represent each of them in a way that felt beautiful,
Very,
and
very.
honest, and in a way that you would understand how people would be able to show up in these places and feel God, but it's not something that she could. That's not where she felt God, and
Right.
I think it's actually beautiful that some people feel God sitting in a church pew, and some people feel God alone in their room, like Margaret does, or anywhere, staring at a sunset or what. I think we all find that sense of the divine in different ways and in different places. And I think um, I I was really moved by that journey and that realization, and that she comes to sort of her own sense of faith. She carves out her own sense of the divine,
Yes.
and continues that relationship in the end.
Yes, that was beautifully done, Kelly. I mean, her being experiencing temple and then, going to experiencing confession, you know?
Hmm.
So
Yes.
I was just like, oh man, like this is amazing. Like just to see her, and obviously when you're watching a film, you kind of feel like you're going through it with them, and
Yeah.
I'm sure like myself and like other people, depending on their religious backgrounds, you just kind of just step back and you're just like, wow, you
Yeah.
don't think of it in those terms or or in that way. And just her openness and
Hmm.
it was like, hey God, it's me, Margaret,
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah. Yeah. I love, and that's, I mean, so much of credit to Judy Blume and the book, because um I was so moved by that when I reread it as an adult, and I actually did not remember the spiritual search from when I read it when I was 11. I was just, uh, I was so bowled over by it as an adult. I found it to be profound, and I related in lots of ways, and yeah,
it was fantastic. And that is definitely what I'll take with me, from the film.
yeah.
So did you obviously you have a son, I have two
Hmm.
boys.
Hmm.
But so we can't say that, well, that's how we would teach our daughters or whatever, but did you
Yeah.
see yourself in any of the characters from the film?
Oh my gosh. Well, I absolutely saw myself in Margaret.
Mhm.
When I was 11, I was a late bloomer. I was like praying for boobs and my period and everything, and I just felt like everyone was ahead of me, and I was just like, I just couldn't catch up fast enough. Um, but I also, when I wrote the script, I really related to Barbara, and so I expanded her character.
Mhm.
Um, because um, when I reread it as an adult, I didn't expect that I would be so interested in the mom.
Right.
And there's a little bit about her in the book, but
Mm.
not a ton. But what was there piqued my interest, and so I started to think, what's behind all of that? If you dug into that, what would you find?
Right.
Um, So yeah.
I appreciate that too, because, when you read a book, it's a certain way, but then, you kind of have questions, because I even feel like I had questions left from like, well, what happened with Nancy?
Right.
Or,
Yes.
well, what happens in junior high? So I'm like,
Yes. Yeah.
oh,
Yes.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
fantastic and an incredible job. I look forward
Thank
to
you.
more of your projects. Thank you so much for speaking with
Thank
me
you. I
today.
so appreciate it. Thank
Absolutely.
you.